And now, it's time for Levack and Goz to answer the question, why?
Why? Tell me why?
Why?
Sometimes things in the world of sports just don't make sense. Goz is here to ask why.
Levack, the New York Jets opened as a 2-point favorite against the Cleveland Browns. Why?
Because they're about 2 points better.
That's not 5, not 6, not 7, not sound like LeBron.
Well, yeah,
but
I was going to say, what are you, LeBron?
You didn't think this would be a higher spread for a team in the Browns that hasn't won a game yet this season?
They're in Cleveland, right?
They are in Cleveland, if I'm not mistaken.
So generally, the rule of thumb is 3 to 3.5 points when you're home. That's your home field advantage. So if you think about it, they're basically saying the Jets are about 5 points better than the Browns. I almost said the Cavs, but I think the Cavs would actually give you more trouble on a football field than the Browns was.
I'm surprised this isn't closer to 6. We don't know who's playing quarterback for the Browns, so maybe depending on what site you're investing on, it might have a line all over the place. Kevin Hogan, Cody Kessler, but they're both rookies. Ryan Fitzpatrick is a veteran in the league. The Browns haven't won a game.
It's been bet up to 4 already.
Up to 4 already.
Yeah.
Okay.
2.5 in some places. But see, I mean, I hear what you're saying, like Cody Kessler, Kevin Hogan, who cares? Terrell Pryor's dinged up. You don't really know what you're getting. But what have the Jets done? You know what I mean? Like on paper, they still look mean, but they haven't done anything yet. Fitz lost his job a week ago to a guy who's only got one leg now. You know, I like I said, I think it's a decent line. If anything, I hear what you're saying, but I don't think it's too far.
Can we go back real quick and say, did you say he had one leg? Like, he tore his ACL. He still has a leg, Levack.
Yeah, kind of.
It's not gotten that bad. People have 2 legs for. Yeah, I'm going to move on to 2. Rex Ryan said today that if the Buffalo Bills lose to the Patriots this Sunday, they don't have a chance to win the AFC East. Why did Rex say that?
Because every game in division counts as a 2-point game. So if you lose to them, you're basically losing 2 games. It puts you too far behind. You're already what? 2 games. You're 2 games back. So mentally, that would put you 4 games back. That's why.
Little extra motivation, in other words, from Rex. He knows, telling the team, look, guys, it's either now or never. If we're going to win the AFC East, you want to be in the playoffs, you got to take down. With the words of great Ric Flair said, to be the man, you got to beat the man. Woo! That's what Rex is doing this week. Channeling his inner flair.
And let's be honest. You celebrated when you beat the Jacoby Brissett Patriots. You celebrated. You acted like you won. And you did. There was a couple of guys, including Rex, who said outright, like, dude, Brady wasn't there. But you didn't act like it. Your words were, Brady wasn't there. But your action was like, we just beat the Patriots. We just beat the Patriots. You got to beat Tom Brady. You have, like if you want anybody, you just said it, to be the man, you're going to beat the man. The man wasn't there last time you beat the Patriots. The man is home now.
You beat some other type of flair. You beat somebody else.
Yeah, you ran into that dude. You ran into Brady's home, put your feet up on his coffee table, drank his beer, chilled out. I mean, he probably drinks Perrier, but you know what I'm saying. You and then Brady wasn't home. Brady's home this time. You're about to knock on his door.
Why here, number 3, the San Antonio Spurs beat the Golden State Warriors last night by 29 points. Why?
Because the San Antonio Spurs won 67 games last year, and nobody talked about them because they probably could have beat the Warriors last year, but just kind of didn't. They were dysfunctional. Everybody's talking about Tim Duncan not being there. They got younger. You know what I mean? Like, they're faster now.
They kind of don't need him anymore. You get more minutes with LaMarcus Aldridge. Some of these younger guys can get up and down the floor.
And I know it's a rule I can't say why back. Kawhi.
Nice.
Kawhi Leonard is a bad, bad man.
Kawhi Leonard, second last year in the MVP voting, looks better than he did last season. They lost a Hall of Famer in Tim Duncan. They lost Big Boban, who's 7'4", but none of that matters because you still have Greg Popovich. You still have an all-star in Aldridge. Kawhi, I look at this roster, and I want to go, Pau Gasol is okay, but I don't even think if we talked about guys like Patty Mills and others who are coming off the bench, Popovich could piece this together and still get this team in the playoffs. The San Antonio Spurs are awesome. Do we want to go right now and say it's the Warriors are going to be rusty and they're going to have to figure out how to play with each other? I just feel like Durant and Curry and Thompson are such good shooters. their style of play is going to work. They're going to have games where they win by 40 this season, right?
They're going to win like 65 games this year, and it's going to be a letdown. Think about that. That's how good the Warriors were last year and are supposed to be this year. You lost depth, you lost a little toughness, and now but you got another great basketball player. They're going to win 65 games, and everybody's going to be like, I thought it was going to be 74.
Well, let's stick with the Warriors here for number 4 and why. TNT's own Charles Barkley last night calls Klay Thompson the second best player in the NBA, Levack. Why?
My man is crazy.
There should be a lot of answers to this. He's crazy. They're crazy. They got problems. They need help.
I was watching when he said it. Because, my remote was getting worked last night. Between the World Series game, the Knicks, this. His point was that Kawhi Leonard and Klay Thompson are more rounded basketball players than Steph Curry is. So it's like LeBron James is the best basketball player in the world. And then after that, I think he was more or less answering the question, who he would build a team around. And he likes Klay because Klay plays more defense than Steph does in his mind. And he likes Kawhi Leonard. So it's hard to say that, the Durantula, I just think he doesn't like Kevin Durant anymore. I think he looks at Kevin Durant as a coward for not trying to beat, the Warriors.
There's something to that, yes, because he's a guy from the 90s who was always going up against Michael Jordan and Karl Malone and John Stockton. He got to the NBA Finals with the Suns, but they just weren't good enough there to get through it. You're right.
He said it. In his day, they wouldn't have done what he did. They wouldn't have done what Durant did. It's one thing to go make a team of bullies, but you join the bullies who are beating you up. I believe is close to what he said about Durant.
We're not going to factor in Russell Westbrook, Chris Paul, even though his team's not very good, Anthony Davis. There's a lot of good Boogie Cousins. I'm not saying they all should be number 2, but there are some names he could have gone with before Klay Thompson.
Klay was weird, but he also had Kawhi Leonard in there too, though.
Yes, he did.
And I think Kawhi could very well be the second best basketball player. But Klay's got a chip on his shoulder too. I don't agree, but I don't look at it as crazy as everybody else does because I just think that what he's telling you is that pound for pound, he thinks that if he was going to go to war on a basketball court, that's the guy he wants next to him, not pretty boy, babyface assassin.
2 more for you. I might toss in a third one. See how I feel. I'm going to do at least 2 more for you. Cleveland Indians pitcher Andrew Miller last night threw 2 innings and 46 total pitches, and the Indians had a 3-run lead. Why?
Because Corey Kluber is going to pitch 3 games. The 1, the 4, and the 7th game, most likely. You need to win any game that Kluber's on the mound. Take whatever you want out of it. Francona's all in on 1, 4, and 7.
Yeah, right.
So if Kluber's on the mound, you're going to see Andrew Miller.
As an Oriole fan who watched Buck Showalter not pitch Zach Britton, I am not going to criticize the manager for throwing the best arm for 2 innings and 46 pitches. There is, I think, one thing that Francona factored in is the possible rain delay today. So even if they only get in 2 or 3 innings, or if the game gets postponed, they'll have Andrew Miller coming back for another game. So you solidify the win. You get Miller to pitch. I'm cool with it. I think it's a good move by Tito Francona.
Coming up in the next segment, too, I'm going to tell you why it's an even bigger move than you think it is.
That's a nice little tease there. I'm going to close with this, and be careful how you answer this one. The Walking Dead Season 7 premiere. Why?
Dude, all right, so as somebody I've watched all the episodes. I've read all the graphic novels, aka comic books.
Nerd alert, nerd alert.
Nerd alert. I knew that there were people involved in that episode that weren't, at this point in the comic books, were no longer around. So I had my suspect on who was going to be the victim of Negan, but I still had my mind blown. They went into that and said, "Oh, you think you know?" That was the most graphic, gory episode of television I think I've ever seen. And I watch American Horror Story.
You are one of, I think, now a handful of people I've heard have actually questioned how it was allowed on television.
There is
and not pay-per-view television. HBO and Showtime's it's a premium channel.
No, it's AMC, so it's still, you still have to pay for cable, and that's the excuse that everybody's using. But I swear, I hate to do this when you already called me old over the Raiders song. Back in my day.
Oh, God.
Dude, there's no way. Just the words that were said in that episode. Not even the visuals. I mean, I can't believe it was on. But, you know, I'm 40. I don't, whatever.
The Walking Dead, I watched season 2, if I'm not mistaken, and it was before another show I really liked, Kenny Powers, Eastbound and Down, so I was half interested. I now regret not being more interested. But The Walking Dead ratings, it is so popular. The NFL actually gets nervous and prepares for, oh boy, we're going to take a hit tonight when it comes to the ratings in the Sunday Night Football games. The Walking Dead rates that well compared to the Sunday Night NFL games. They know about it.
Come after me. I'm a man. I'm 40.
What is Gundy doing here?
He's ready.
What?
He's talking to Negan.
Come after me. I'm a man. I'm 40.
The World Series might already be over. I'll tell you why next.